Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. Today we are joined by Dan McAllister. He is the treasurer tax collector for this county. So he collects property taxes.
That's correct.
Amongst others, but we'll talk about property taxes.
Yes.
What happens if someone does not pay their property taxes?
Well, they receive an immediate 10% override, meaning a penalty of 10%.
Got it.
If that extends then into the next fiscal year, it will add on at 1.5% per month or 18% per year on top of the 10%. So it's possible after 18 months that they could have a 28% penalty for not paying their taxes.
What happens if that keeps going on and on and on?
The penalties continue to accrue, and then at 5 years, we have the legal right to sell the property to recover the monies that are due to the people of San Diego County.
So let's focus on that, because at that 5-year mark, essentially the property, does it revert to the county? The county becomes the rightful owner of the property?
No, it doesn't revert to the county. It just gives us the right to supersede any other vendors or entities at selling the property and recovering our money first.
So even if there's a mortgage on the property, you can come in, you can sell the property, you get paid first.
Yes.
If there's extra money left, I guess the next lien holder would get it. Is that accurate?
Correct. That's correct.
And then I guess if there is money left, the owner would get it?
They call those excess proceeds.
Right.
And that's in excess of any other obligations or debts. And once those are retired, the excess proceeds can revert back to the original owner.
As a general proposition, you've taught me, I think like 99% of people pay their property taxes.
You're absolutely right. 99.3% has been our number.
That 0.7% that aren't paying, is there a theme to that? Is it people didn't even know they own the property, someone died? Is there any kind of overriding theme on what's going on there?
I think it's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of people doing different things. Many of the properties we see now are a byproduct of the downturn in the economy 5 or more years ago.
Okay.
So we are bound to have had a few better properties to sell because, sadly, some people lost their properties in that whole mix.
So let's talk about the sale.
Right.
A few years ago would be that auction with the fast-moving voice.
Yes.
That has changed. We've moved into the 21st century, and Dan McAllister is now operating the sales of properties that are in arrears due to property taxes online.
eBay had it right, and others have followed suit.
Right.
And we figure that if they can do it, we can do it. And we have enough documentation from around the country to know that this concept has caught on in a big way.
So this has been the first cycle.
Yes,
you actually had some properties kind of stack up over the last 2 years.
Yes.
And a couple months ago, you had your first online auction.
We did.
How did it go? I want to hear about it.
It went really well. We started with about 1,500 properties on the day the auction began. And that was after a 30-day enrollment period where people had the right to sign up to be a bidder and pay their fees to get that done.
And let's be clear, one does not need to live in San Diego County to be a bidder.
Absolutely. In fact, we received inquiries as well as bidder status requests from people in a number of different countries around the world.
Oh, not even states, just even countries.
United States.
Wow.
Yeah, it was worldwide.
So how did that first auction go? Any results you can report?
It went splendidly well. $5.6 million, an all-time record high.
Oh, is that true?
For the county of San Diego at our property auction. That's what we grossed.
Right.
We haven't netted everything out yet, and we will do that after the second phase, which we're about to launch into.
And let's talk about the second phase, because I think you said about how many properties sold in the first auction? About 343, it looks like.
Yes, 343.
Right. But you have over 1,000 that are still available.
Still available.
Give us a sense. I think we have the information on the 1,000 still available.
I think there's some remarkable opportunities here people should look into.
Right.
936 timeshares, for instance.
And mind you, we're in San Diego County. My gut tells me some of those timeshares are in beautiful locations.
The timeshares were built in many instances along the beach, along the north and south beaches of San Diego County.
Nice.
Places like Aviera and different La Berge and Del Mar. We're not certain, and we certainly don't warranty that these are the end all for people. However, we say this is a buyer beware auction. People need to do their due diligence.
Can they? I mean, if we go online,
Yes.
can you click on a picture, or how would that work?
In some cases, pictures. In most cases, specific sites of the property in question. So you have meets and bounds, as well as dimensions, location,
If
addresses,
it's a
things of that
timeshare,
sort.
could you call the Aviera, for example, and say, could you give us information on this unit?
Probably chances are good they won't be selling these units.
Right.
But we have seen an uptick in the original vendors like Aviera
Right.
coming back and buying up these distressed properties and then putting them back onto the market.
I understand. Okay, so like you said, there's over 900 timeshares.
Yes, 18 improved properties.
Okay, what is improved properties for our viewers?
Improved properties could be a house. A house with a garage detached, a townhome, something like that. It's an improved property from the original property built up.
And then there's 61 unimproved properties. What does that mean?
Most of the time, vacant land.
Okay, but
So
again,
this could be vacant land in the city. It could be vacant land in any one of the 18 cities in the county of San Diego. It could be up in the foothills in the mountains.
But think about it. We're in San Diego County. Any strip of land is worth a nice amount of money.
I think that's where the due diligence comes in and the buyer beware part comes in. We encourage people to do their own research, find out everything they can about that property before they bid on it, because these are final sales.
Right.
And so it's not as if people get a test case, buy something, and then 3 weeks later can come back and say, you know, I'd like to return it.
Okay, so what if we want to register to participate in the auction?
It's very easy. We ask people to go online. We have a special tax sale.
Right. And we'll put that on the
address here.
screen. You
Sure.
can say it out loud.
Okay. And they have really until the early to mid part of July.
Right.
These just went online this week.
Sure.
So if they do it ahead of time, they'll be registered, they'll be ready to go, and the auction itself will be July 21st through the 26th.
So how will that work? Do we need to be watching it as if it was eBay to see if someone's outbidding?
Well, I think that would be a good thing.
Okay.
And you can do that, but it's going to take some focus and concentration with 1,000 different properties.
Right.
These things keep moving, and they move all day long until they're sold.
But the,
or until
but are
the
they
end of the
all
auction.
sold only on the 26th, or could they be sold before the 26th?
They could be sold before. They are.
Do you wait till the end of the auction period? I guess those are details you can find out online.
yeah,
Let's find that out online.
But if you recall on eBay, for instance, there's a time period set up for the auction of each individual item.
Right.
And they start and they finish on a certain timeline. So between the 21st and 26th, that's when we hope to generate more dollars coming in for the benefit of the taxpayers.
I want to ask you in our final minute or so about the Board of Equalization.
Okay.
As you know, there's significant reforms going on at
Yes.
the board. The board has had control over property taxes at some level. How is the reform at the Board of Equalization going to impact your office, if at all, or do we know?
I think the biggest impact right now is uncertainty.
Well stated.
Apparently, the legislature, with the governor's cooperation, has devised a new methodology to execute the duties of this current Board of Equalization. In other words, they're going to parse out and farm out their responsibilities in a big way. I don't think there's going to be any direct impact on us that we see, at least initially, because they do things on a state level. We do things on a local level. There could be some overlap, but we have yet to understand that.
He is Dan McAllister. He is the treasurer tax collector of San Diego County. That's where we are today. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're glad you've joined us on Local Edition.